Hi, I'm Alison Chang from iGirl Tech News, and I'm here with Theresa Roemer, who is an incredible, amazing woman who's basically built herself from the ground up, independently, practically. And I'm here with her. So lucky to have her here. Thank you again for being here, Theresa.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So you've got a lot of kind of big things that you have gone through and to get to where you are. So can you just tell us a little bit about that journey and how you started?
Yeah, when I was a small child, I was diagnosed with a heart murmur because I had rheumatic fever 4 different times, and I was basically told I would never be a normal child, that I would just be sick, and I would never be able to have children. And so I guess I just went against all odds and said, oh no, I'm not going to be that kid, you know. And so I jumped out there and became an athlete, which is kind of unheard of in my family because no one's an athlete in my family, and got into every sport imaginable. And by the time I was 19, they said they could no longer really consider me a heart patient because I had been able to strengthen my heart so much through exercising. And from there, I just fell in love with fitness alone, and I just started teaching aerobics and becoming a personal trainer and then owning my own fitness facilities and taking titles in bodybuilding. And so I love fitness. To me, fitness and doing something every day fitness-wise is just like brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. How did you find the motivation to kind of push past that adversity and, you know, strengthen your heart so much that they couldn't consider you a patient anymore?
Well, I think, you know, when you're told that you're going to just be inside and you're going to have to stay in bed and you're just not going to get to have fun, I couldn't fathom life like that. You know, it was like, really? I don't want to stay in bed. And so I started climbing trees and swimming in the ponds, and I just started doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to do, but I didn't care. I was like, no, I'm not staying inside. I'm not going to be sick. I'm just not. So I don't know. I don't know where I get it from. I guess I'm hard-headed.
Well, it's a good thing.
It's really a good thing because, like I said, I've been in fitness my whole life, and in 2011, I even climbed Mount Kilimanjaro for a fundraising effort.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. How can you tell us a bit about that experience? I heard that you actually was almost like a life-threatening situation for you, but you again pushed past it and you made it through.
Once again, I think I'm hard-headed because literally I was in Malawi, Africa the whole week prior to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and unbeknownst to me, I picked up a parasite while I was in Malawi, but the parasite didn't rear its ugly head until about the 3rd day on the mountain, and I was at about 15,000 feet when the parasite kicked in, and I struggled because everything I was taking in was going back out, you know, so I was very weak. And so somehow, by the grace of God, I made it to the top a lot later than everyone else did that day, but I still made it to the top. But because it took me so long, I then got high altitude sickness on top of the parasite. By the time I got back down to base camp, they literally had to stretcher me off the mountain, which they ran with me for 8 straight hours to get me off that mountain. And they said that in the hospital that there was actually no reason why I lived. They said statistically you should have died.
But even despite that, you wanted to make it to the top of that mountain because you really believed in what you were doing.
Exactly. I mean, I had raised a lot of money and I had promised everyone I was going to climb that mountain, and I was going to do it.
On the topic of your philanthropy, can you tell us a bit about how you got involved in philanthropy and why it means so much to you?
Well, once again, I think I got involved in philanthropy as a small child and didn't even know it, because back then when I was a little girl, hospitals had to see you whether you could pay for it or not. And so I would go in and out of hospitals in Omaha, Nebraska, and we weren't wealthy by no means. We were very, very poor ranch people, and literally, when we would go to leave the hospital, I would say to my mom, "Can't we just leave them $1 or $2?" And so I think I was becoming a philanthropist at that point and didn't even know it, you know. And as I've just gone forward in life, I have had so many wonderful blessings in my life. I feel that it's my God-given duty to be able to pay it forward and give back.
Definitely something that I think philosophy that everybody should adopt.
Yes.
really inspiring. So how about when just growing up, because you mentioned that or you said that fitness is a really big part of your life. Did you face any adversity or challenges from anybody who is like, you're a girl, you can't do that, and you have this heart disease, you cannot do that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time I turned around, I had another doctor saying, you know, you really shouldn't be doing this. You're not strong enough. And I'd be like, okay, that's your opinion, but I feel good, you know, and I'm going to do it. And so I just, you know, I think the wonderful thing was I had a lot of coaches all through junior high and high school that believed in me. They could see what a great athlete I was, that I really was a gifted athlete, that you know that somewhere I had this gift of being an athlete, and they coached me on. They said you can do whatever you want to do. Don't let the doctors. And so I did, and like I said, I fell in love with the sport because I realized how much it helped me and how good it made me feel. So, you know, how can you not do something that makes you feel good?
Yeah, and you took that, I guess, even a step further in starting to open your own business in fitness. Was that right out of high school? I mean, how did you go about getting into that venture?
No, it was right out of high school, because right when I was graduating from high school, my girlfriend said, wow, there's this little tiny aerobic studio that just opened up. We should, you know, and back in the early 80s, you know, late 1970s and 80s, now I'm telling you my age. Back in the late 70s and 80s, there weren't very many health clubs around. I mean, it was just really starting to come out, you know, at that point. And so we didn't even know what an aerobic studio was. And my girlfriend said, wow, there's an aerobic studio. We need to go check it out. And so we did, and we took the class, and the aerobics instructor came up to me and she said, you are so coordinated and you have so much rhythm, you need to teach aerobics for me. And I said, wow, it's kind of like cheerleading, okay. And because I had been a cheerleader, it just came natural, you know, and it was easy. And from there, I just started teaching aerobics, and then I became a certified Nautilus instructor, which is really aging me because that was in the early 80s, because now they're called fitness trainers. But I started out as a certified Nautilus instructor, and then took that into becoming a personal trainer, which I fell in love with because it gave me a way to help people. And I love to help people. So becoming a personal trainer, once again, is another way to help people. So I was like, wow, I can help people. And then I started opening fitness facilities because I could help even more people. And so it went from not only being able to help one person, but helping hundreds and thousands of people.
Mm-hmm. And how did you find that there's a shift in, I mean, just doing fitness and, as you said, helping people, and then the business side of it and managing finances and growing a business and competing with other, I guess, fitness companies?
Right. You know, yeah, I mean, like, you know, I definitely had to take some college courses to learn, you know, a lot about business management, which I fell in love with. It wasn't hard. And so I took that and went into my fitness facilities, and it's helped me in the oil industry with my husband, and it's helped me in my brand and my clothing line and my candle line. So yeah, I mean, like, it's very easy to combine the business side of it with the fitness side and the helping side and the philanthropy side. To me, they all just go hand in hand.
Did you face any specific challenges regarding, I mean, growing your business from people who said that, I mean, you only know how to do fitness, you don't know how to run a business, or was it just, again, the hard-headedness?
Well, I think it was the hard-headedness, but once again, back in the early 80s, it was very unheard of for a woman to be in business for herself, especially in the fitness industry. And so I was looked down upon because they were like, well, you're a girl. What do you know? And I was like, I know just as much as you know. You know, so, you know, I had to endure that phrase, you're a girl, you can't do it, my whole life, because everything I wanted to get into, very few women were ever in that, you know. And so and plus they don't think you know enough or have enough money to be able to do things yourself. So of course then they always thought that I must have had a sugar daddy in the background somewhere, you know, financing everything. I mean, like it was really hard in the 80s to get people to really believe that as a woman I had a brain and I was smart and I knew how to do things. And yes, it might be a man's world, but I know how to do it too.
In that same vein, do you have any advice for young women who are trying to break into either the fitness industry or starting their own business or just trying to do something for themselves? Do you have any advice for them when they face challenges like that?
You know, my word of wisdom here is the only person standing in the way of your success is you. Bottom line. I mean, if you want to do it, get the eye of the tiger and do it. There is no one standing in your way except for you, because unless you're willing to take the risk, you'll never know if you're going to succeed. So I have it plastered all over my walls. The only person standing in your way of your success is you yourself. And so I just tell people, you know what? You might fail, but failure is part of success. So go for it. Go for it. Go for it and have no regrets.
Nice. So many good life philosophies coming from you. I also wanted to ask you about, because you have so many different things going on, about your new fashion app.
Yes, yes. Well, it's kind of a cross between fashion and charity app is basically what it is. Because I'm always looking at ways to try to help charities make more money. So we're taking the fashion side of it into an app and combining it with charity. And, you know, every time you go to a gala, there's always the little goodie bag that you get when you sit down. There's always a goodie bag, or a gift bag, they call it. And a lot of times galas that are trying to put on the gala are looking for things to go in the goodie bags. And, of course, everyone that ever goes to a gala likes to get the goodie bag. And so we're coming up with a way to work with vendors to get people to donate to the True and Real, not really donate, but give items to the True and Real deals. And that True and Real deals will be in the goodie bag, and people will be able to pull up on their app this charity app, and when they go on there, they can buy these things at a very discounted price, and then a percentage of your money that you are paying for this item in here, which has to do with fashion, will go immediately back to the charity.
Wow. So what gave you the idea for an app like this? Because I've never heard of anything like it.
You're right. There is nothing like it. Well, once again, it's just a way of trying to get fashion and women and charities all together. And I've always tried to figure out ways to help charities make even more money. And so why not go through the goodie bag to make that happen?
I was also wondering, you wrote an article for iGirl, which is, I read it, it was amazing. Everybody should go read it, definitely. But I had a question about smaller businesses and philanthropy. And I recall you saying that, you know, if you put your heart to it and it's your passion, that you could do it. But do you have any advice for people who don't really have much to give, how they could get involved?
You know, I always tell everyone, whether you're giving $1 or whether you're giving $10 or $100, it doesn't matter. You know, most people think philanthropists have to be extremely wealthy people to be able to give, and there's no truth to that whatsoever. The person that only has, you know, maybe they're only making $30,000 a year and they struggle to put groceries on the table for their kids. You know, sometimes when you're at the grocery store and the clerk asks you at the grocery store, you know, would you like to give $1 today to Texas Children's Hospital? Wow, right there, the person that can hardly afford to buy the groceries can actually just donate $1 to Texas Children's Hospital and feel good about themselves, knowing that, look, all it took was for me to give $1 and I'm a philanthropist.
So it's really as much or as little as you can give, as long as that your heart is really in giving.
Well, not only that, I always tell people, too, that it's not necessarily money that makes you a philanthropist either. You can donate your time. Every organization, every charity is always looking for volunteers. And, you know, if you can't afford to donate monetarily, you can donate your time. And I'm telling you what, donating your time and becoming a volunteer makes you feel just as good as if you went out there and gave them $100,000.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a bit more about some of the charities that you actually donate your time to for your philanthropy?
Sure. Well, for one, I donate a lot of my time and my energy and my money to Child Legacy International. That happens to be the charity that I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro for, where we drill the water wells over in Malawi, Africa. I donate a lot of money and time to the American Heart Association because I had a little brother die of a massive heart attack, and myself, I have, the heart murmur. So that one's near and dear to my heart. Of course, we always donate to Texas Children's Hospital. We're ambassadors for them. I always tell people that are looking for charities, they always go, well, how do you pick the charity that you want to donate to? And I always tell people, you have do your research, but pick a charity that pulls at your heart. Because if it means something to you and your heart, then you're going to be more willing to donate your time or your money or whatever it is. But you need to find something that pulls at your heartstrings. And like I said, the American Heart Association does that because, once again, my heart murmur and my little brother dying of a heart attack. Child Legacy, because all the little children in Africa need fresh, clean water, because 1 in every 3 children dies over there because of terrible water conditions. And so, just finding a charity that really pulls at your heart and means something to you, you'll be more apt to want to help them, whether it be monetarily or just with your time.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. Something that I personally have to think about too, because I don't have any money, but then I do realize that you do have a lot of time that you can donate, whether that be labor or just talking to somebody over there. It's definitely something that I think everybody should do as well.
Exactly, and one of the favorite charities I do, and I don't really call it a charity, but it's Big Brothers Big Sisters. There's so many kids out there that don't have big brothers or big sisters. They don't have a lot of family, and if you can donate just a little bit of your time to become a big brother or a big sister, you're going to go to the movies. Why not take a little brother or little sister from that organization and take them to the movies with you? You're going to go anyways, So there's just all different kinds of ways that you can definitely help in life.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to steer our conversation a little bit back into the ways of business. So I actually have an interesting statistic for you. Only 4.2% of venture capital funding goes to female founders who are trying to start their own business. And I was just wondering what you think of that and how you think we could go about changing it.
Well, first of all, that's terrible statistics, definitely, because, I think there's so many terribly gifted women out there. Look at Hillary Clinton. She might run for president. Hallelujah, if we could get a woman, to be president. I know that the government is working very hard to try to find more and more funding to help women. I know back when I started my health clubs, I actually got a small business administration loan because I was a female. They were more willing to loan money to me to start my health club organization and everything. I know there's organizations out there that are helping to try to help Latino women, all the Hispanic women. So I know the government is trying. I don't think they try hard enough sometimes, but I know there is a lot of stuff on the horizon to try to help women get into business more, because I think they are truly seeing that it's not just a man's world anymore. There are truly a lot of gifted women out there.
Mm-hmm. And also another question, if you could talk to your younger self, is there any advice that you would give to yourself in the past?
Go for it. Go for it, and don't ever have any regrets. Like I said, you may fail, you may succeed, but don't have any regrets. Just go for it. You're never going to know unless you try.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any, particular failures that really helped to push you further forward that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
Oh yeah, I mean back in 1993 in one of my health clubs, I had a terrible flood, and the city wanted to shut me down, and I was just like, oh no, you can't shut me down. You know, this is my health club, and I kept trying to figure out ways to overcome the disaster that had happened to that health club. And one night I just went to bed and I said, you know what, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to sell my house, and I'm going to move into the back of my health club, and we're going to stay open. And sure enough, I was able to put my house on the markets, put it below market so that it sold immediately. I put all my stuff into storage, and I moved into the back of my health club at that location, and I lived there for a year, just so that every ounce of money that my health club made, I was able to put right back into my health club and get it back on its feet, and not have to go under.
Wow.
So once again, you know, you got to do it. You just got to do it. You got to, you know, if it means that much to you, you're going to find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any stories of, I guess, clients from the health club who have come to you and had kind of that you've helped through that? Any particular short stories that you want to share?
Oh my gosh! Back in 1991, I had this woman that was in her late 60s. She had basically become wheelchair bound. She had so much arthritis. She had so many medical problems and ailments that literally she'd gone from hardly walking to being in a walker to now going into a wheelchair. And she called me one day because there was an article in the newspaper about me, and she kind of told me her story. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't help her. She's too far gone, you know. And I thought, no, you know what? You got to try. This woman swears that you are her last chance. You got to at least try. And so I started working with her, and I was scared to death. I admit it. I was scared to death because she was so fragile. Very, very, very big woman, but fragile because she had so many medical problems. But literally in a year's time, I was able to get her so strong that we got her out of the wheelchair, and she started walking with a walker. And pretty soon, she didn't even have to have the walker. She was literally walking on her own. I made her so independent again that she was actually able to start traveling the United States again, all by herself, driving her own car, everything. And to this day, her and I are still great friends, and she still talks to me. And this woman is 88 years old, and she's still going strong.
Wow, that's an incredible story. And just, I guess, how do you feel? How do you, all of that, that you really directly contributed to this transformation of this woman and completely changed her life?
It gives me chills. It makes me feel so good that I was literally able to save someone's life. And once again, it goes back to all the people that believed in me and helped me go against the odds of what the doctors had said. You know, I had people in my corner helping me, and so once again, it's called paying it forward. You know, I love helping people, and that was proof in the pudding right there of you know, when it's in your heart and it really means something to you and you're passionate about it, it makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm. And so with that mentality, where do you see yourself going in the future, the next 5, 10 years?
Wow, I want to help the world. I'm trying to help the world, you know. And I think that's another reason why I'm trying to develop this app, is because I really see that I'm going to help make history here. Somehow in the next, I want to say 10 years, I believe I'm going to be partially responsible for making some kind of history. I do.
Mm-hmm. And especially with that app and all the, I'm so excited. Is it out already?
No, we're in development. I've been working with a website or an app company out of New York City. I had them do a lot of research to make sure there was nothing out there like it, and there's not. And so we've done quite a few different classes back and forth over the website and everything, and I think we're getting ready to make it happen. We're getting ready to make it an app.
That's very exciting. Do you have any kind of ahead release date so we can put it on the site, or just for everyone to know?
Do I have what? I'm sorry?
Like a release date or a place where people can go to find more information about your app?
I think we'll probably be putting it on my website soon. So, if they want to log in to www.theresaroemer.com, I'm sure we're going to be probably putting it out there very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say to the iGirl viewers before we finish off?
I just want to thank you so much for having me be a part of your show today. And if there's anything I could say, I love empowering women. I just think women are the brains in the country here, and I just love empowering women. And all I can say is just go for it. Have no regrets and just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much again for being with me, Theresa. Again, this is Alison Chang for iGirl Tech News, and we're teching out.